But in this session, I will be showing you guys how to maximize LinkedIn, not just job searching, but how you're going to target some hidden job market, etc. So some housekeeping items, please turn your camera off. Unless you are asked by me to turn it on. Please mute yourselves unless you guys are sharing your questions or your concerns with me. If you have any questions, please put it in the chat box and there are career advisors here, so we will help you guys answer those questions as we go. There are some interactions here that I'll have some polls where you guys can put your reactions, answer the questions, so you guys can put it in the poll. If you have any other questions, please visit our CDC tab on the portal for career tools, resources, upcoming events, and workshops. I will get started. So first question, what do you currently use LinkedIn for? So I'm going to launch a poll so you guys can put your answers in here, and let's see what everyone is utilizing LinkedIn for. Okay, so some of the responses say jobs, networking. I see a lot of networking, job searching, professors' profiles, yes, professional networking, job seeking, digital resume, extend my network, trending. I don't use it. That's okay. Today you'll learn about how you're going to use it. Informational interviews, great. Okay, so the main words I see are networking, looking for jobs, professional resume. Great. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next slide. So in today's session, you'll be learning about the importance of utilizing LinkedIn regularly. You know, you guys are probably checking your Instagrams and Facebook every day and maybe not checking your LinkedIn. And why is it important that you're checking your LinkedIn regularly? The importance of networking, what networking is, and the importance of networking. Also, how to build a valuable connection with professionals. So how you will find some professionals you want to reach out to, where will we find these, and how to create that good relationship with them. Also creating a strong online presence to potential employers. Next is networking through coffee chat and informational interviews. That's my favorite part. So, right, so these are the 5 things that we will be covering in today's workshop. Right, next question. What is networking and why is it important? So I'm going to launch a poll again, so you guys can answer these 2 questions for me based on your current knowledge. All right, so based on this question, on the first question, what is networking? You guys have answered industry connections. That's correct. So if you want to talk to some people that's within your industry, this is a really great way. Professional connections, yes, where you're building your professional connections. You're connecting with people, relations, chain, great. Connect with others, getting to know new people. Yes, this is all really great answers. Next, why is networking important? You guys have answered career growth, to build a community, to build a network, it's to expand our reach and opportunities. Yeah, that is all correct. Connecting with more people, long-term professional relationships, great. It's like a virtual space, public relationships, all really great answers. Right, so thank you for answering that question. Right. So, what is networking? So, networking is building connections. You're basically building connections with other professionals from the industry. It also helps to meet people at all professional levels, not people just at like an entry level job, but people who are CEOs, founders, or who is a manager, hiring managers. You're able to find all different people from different levels. You're because sometimes accessing higher ups can be difficult, but through LinkedIn, you're able to find all these people who are working in that position. You're able to access more experienced professionals for career advice and mentorship. Through networking, you're able to also exchange new ideas to help you grow professionally and try new things. This includes like inspiring you to bring new skills and techniques to a job. So if you do not know about certain certifications that you will that you'll benefit from you when you're looking when you're scrolling down people's profiles or you're networking with them, it kind of sparks you. Oh, hey, this is a certification that I can actually work on. Maybe this will also help me develop my skills. So this will exchanging new ideas always a really great way. Um, Other than that, also networking can also open some door to the new opportunities and career path, such as new jobs through networking, through your connections. Right. So, how can you do networking? So one of the way that you could do networking is through informational interviews. What is informational interview? It is an informal conversation with someone that's working in the career field of your interest. Through informational interviews, you're actually getting firsthand relevant information about the realities of working in the industry or within that particular position, the field. You're also finding about career path that you did not know existed. So, we are sometimes know just the big job titles that people use, but there are hidden job titles that you may not be aware of. And through information interviews, you're able to gain these knowledge. Um, you're also able to gain some tips about how you can prepare for and land on that first career position. You can learn about what it's like to work at a specific organization. So if you have questions about, working for that company and you don't know what the workplace culture is like, through information interviews, you can actually address these questions. You can initiate a personal relationship and expand your network of contacts. So it's not just your colleagues, it's not just your coworkers, but you're able to expand on that network and go further to talk to professionals working in the same industry that you want to go into. Okay, so the 6 steps for informational interview is first, you need to have a career field that you want to learn more about. So if you have a career goal, that's great. But if you have a career field that you wanted to go into and you're very curious about, that is where you start. Number 2, prepare introductions and questions for the interview. This I will cover in my upcoming slides, but how you are going to portray yourself, how you are going to introduce yourself professionally to these professionals that you'll be reaching out to, and what kind of questions do you want to ask? What are you curious about? What do you want to learn about? These are the things that you can think about in your head right now. Number 3, find professionals of your interest and to contact them. So we have questions ready. We know the career field that we're interested in. Where do we find professionals and how we're going to find those professionals? I will cover this in the upcoming slides. Next step is to conduct the informational interview with these professionals. And number 5 is to follow up and thank them for their time. It's actually 5 steps. I thought it was 6 steps. It's 5 steps actually. All right, so next question. Come up with one quality information interview questions and write it down. So based on this slide here, I want you guys to write down, take out a pen and a paper, or think about it in your head. One quality information interview question that you can ask to a professional when you are networking. So I'll give you guys 2 minutes to work on that. And if you guys have some good questions that you guys want to share with other people, please throw in the chat box and I will share it with others. All right, so I got one question in the chat. It says, what advice would you give to someone who is interested in pursuing this career path? I love this question. That's great. It's a very good open-ended question. Next person says, I saw it from LinkedIn that you worked for this many months. What is your favorite part of working for this company? Great question. What are the potential opportunities in your company and how can I be a right fit? Great, Atola. That's a really great question. The next question I got was, tell me about yourself. I think for this one, we can form it a little bit better. Can you introduce yourself to me about your, your career path or your work experiences? We can format it a little bit better so that it sounds a little bit more professional and not too assertive. What are my job responsibilities? For an entrepreneur, it says, how do you approach your revenue model for a media services company? Great. It's very specific, which is really great because you can get some really quality answers out of this question. How best can you maximize your potential for the organization and it will be appreciated? Great. I am interested in the YXZ field. What can be the skill that I need to master or start working on? That's great, especially for someone who's going into that entry level position or that, you're just starting out, you don't know what kind of skills you need to have. This is a really good question to ask. What are your expectations from the employee apart from the JD? Love it. What would you say the key to success on this role? Great. How can I help meet the company grow? I guess you can format this a little bit better as well. How can I contribute to the company's growth? How can I succeed in helping with, the company grow? What would you say are the key skills needed to succeed in this area? Yep. What are the main goals for the company in the next 3 years? That's great. If you do really want to ask about the company and what their goals are, this is a really good question to ask them as well. Are there certifications that I need? Great. How can you describe the culture in the company and what are the main values? That's great. I think Anna has a really good point because she wants to learn more about the company's culture and what their goals are to see if I'm a good fit for that position. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Great, because this question, when you ask them, you're also able to see what kind of career path that they want to walk, and this could be a good idea for you to walk in the future as well if this is something that's within your interest. Thank you for sharing all these questions. It's amazing. Okay, so let's move on to our next slide. So next one is here. These are some of the examples that I've prepared. I think you guys have gave me really good examples in the chat. One of the questions I prepared is like, how long have you been at this company for? How did you get into the field? So, I'm really curious about how did this person land on their first job? And I also want to take the field. I also want to take the step that they took. This is a question that you could ask. What does a typical day look like for you? What are your current responsibilities in that position? Could you give some advice that you feel would be a valuable success in this field? So yeah, if you want to learn about how you could be a successful candidate for that position or a person in that field, this is a good question you can ask. Can you tell me something you wish you had known about the industry and your position before you had entered it? By talking to them, you're also able to figure out, oh, maybe this is not a field for me. Maybe this company, the culture would not be a good fit for me. Can you tell me what you like most about your work at this company or this position? What do you like least about your work? What are some of the most common challenges you face at work? What is the most important characteristics of someone who's successful in this field? Maybe this is a skill set, but through this question, you're able to learn maybe this is a skill set or this is a personality trait that I will need to have to be a good person in this field. Right. What does the job market for this industry in Vancouver currently? What's the expected salary for someone entering in the field of blank? When you're asking this question, I recommend you guys to be very careful. Ask if they don't mind sharing their salary expectation. But if you're really curious about what a person in this field can make, when you're especially doing your salary negotiations in your job interviews, this question will also give you some insights about what your expectations should be within the salary that you want to call for in your job interviews. It's really important that you guys remember to plan an open-minded question to ask, as we do not want the conversation to end with yes or no answers, especially when you're interviewing the professional and they're giving you yes, no, right? It's the end of conversation. So keep it open-ended, open-minded questions, open-ended questions. All right, so next is finding professionals. So the first thing you could do is to pursue your own contacts. You can go through your contacts list, such as your current classmates at UCW, your professors at for your classes, or your former employers. Or you can even seek for UCW alumni. So you can find some people who have graduated from, maybe if you're doing MBA, like who has completed their MBA degree at UCW and what they're currently doing now. Also, you could also look for, you can search with a specific career field or job titles on LinkedIn search. So if you look on, if you look on this search section here, if you have a job title that you specifically want to search up, as an example, I use human resources specialist. So when I type in human resource specialist, you're able to find all the search here. So this person is working as a human resource administrator. This person is working as a human resource specialist. This person is even has a CPHR, and this person is also a human resource specialist. So outside of your current connection, your current network, through LinkedIn, you're actually able to find people who are working as an HR specialist in Vancouver. So here are the professionals in the industry. So we found some people now, we found some professionals. What's next? Right, so customizing an invitation. So on this left-hand side right here, this person is working as a human resource specialist. And I scroll down in the profile, be like, oh, hey, I really want to talk to this person. I really want to learn about their career path. I want to have them as a connection. So you're going to press connect here. And then when you press connect, you're able to find this section where it says you can add a note. Instead of just sending a friend request, I highly recommend you guys to write a quick note about, you can see in the bottom here, hey, I hope this message finds you well. My name is Jennifer McDonald, MBA student from UCW, currently pursuing HR. I came across your profile, noticed that you are also in human resources industry. It would be great to have you as a connection. Thank you. Right, so you're kind of briefly introducing yourself, why you want to have this person as a connection, how it would be a value for both of you guys. You know, this person is also gaining an HR network. You're also learning from this person, as this person is already in the field, already in the industry. So I highly recommend you guys to write a simple note. It doesn't need to be one, like, you know, you don't need to write one for every single one that you're doing. Just copy and paste it, easily just do it, so that because if you have your career goal, it's probably the same field of people that you're reaching out to. So this is a really great way to get that going. All right, so next discussion. What should we include in a customized invitation note and message to connect? So the one that I just showed you guys before in this one was an initial invitation, but after they have accepted your friend request, what should you be including in the actual invitation that you'll be writing up to them afterwards? I'll be launching a poll, so you guys can give me your answers in here, or you guys can write it in the chat box. Please write your own, write one of your own and then share it in the chat.
I think you're on mute, actually.
Oh, thank you for pointing that out. All right, so the question was, what should we include in a customized invitation note and message to connect? And some of the answers are why I want to pursue a career in a particular field or organization. That's great. That's true. You want to let them know about why you want to pursue and some of your passion that you have to enter that field. Purpose for connecting. Yes, that's right. Brief background. Yep. Introduction about yourself. Brief introduction about yourself. Purpose for invitation. Why you want to connect with the person. Include our eagerness to know about that person. That's great. That's true. You want to learn about that person. You want to show them so that they can actually, you can actually ask them for their time. Express similar experience or interest. That's great. No typo, that's really important. You want to appear professional, so you want to avoid the spelling mistakes or grammar mistakes. Brief background, greeting and an introduction, mutual interest, purpose, exploring interest and discussion, relevant experience and career path, and ask for mutually connecting with them. Get brief background about their specialization, current educational or professional status, and interest to connect. Great. Thank you for sharing all these questions. I'm sharing all these answers. That is a really great answer. That's true. Right. So once an initial invitation has been accepted, so you resend out this short invitation message at the beginning. So when they have accepted your friend request or when they have accepted your connection request, I want you guys to also write a longer message in using the message tab and giving them a little bit more details about yourself, just how you guys shared your answers in the poll, sharing the purpose of connection, kind of sharing what you guys have in common as in your educational or professional background, what you're looking for. One second, I'm going to mute this person. So as an example, so once initial invitation has been accepted, you can see on the left-hand side here, this person said, "Hi, Erin, I found your profile through Cultural University alumni list. I recently came to US and would greatly appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about your career path in New York. Would you be available for 20-minute chat over the phone? 20-minute. Okay. So on the left-hand side, it's asking, would you be available for 20-minute chat over the phone or in person next few weeks? I look forward to hearing from you, Aisha. So this person is telling them how they found them, what they want to learn about from this person called Erin, and what they're looking for. So they're asking for a 20-minute chat over the phone to ask about some of the questions that this person probably have prepared. On the top here, we can see, "Hi, Kevin. I know you're super busy and this might have gone off your radar, and I completely understand. I want to make sure you receive the email below. Do you have any openings for a 15-minute call in the next 2 weeks? I completely understand if you're busy at the moment and unable to reply. Thanks, Stephanie." So they're being very they're being very careful of somebody else's time, and they're also they're politely asking for their time to do their informational interviews. All right, so on the right-hand side, this is actually one of the examples that I did. So when I was a student and I wanted to land in this career advisor position, I really wanted to learn about how that person landed on their first job, because my job interviews weren't going very well. I couldn't professionally answer some of the job interview questions. I don't know, I wasn't sure if that was a field that I really wanted to go in and some of the difficulties that they may face. So when I was doing some information interviews, I reached out to this assistant manager and I kind of gave them a brief introduction about myself. I was wondering, I also gave like what I was studying back at my school and what I am trying to develop and why I would like to have them as a connection. And then I also asked them if they can spare me about 15 minutes by phone or call, video call, to ask a few questions about their experience and the company, so that so it would help me to make informed choices in my own career path. Your advice would be invaluable to me. So I really wanted to learn about the field. I really wanted to learn about the company, specifically that company that she was working at. And I did an informational interview. So personally, I like to do it through Zoom, I think having that video connection, looking at this person, looking at their face actually makes a better networking. It builds a better connection, stronger connection, rather than just going over the phone. But if they're a busy person, they don't have time to hop on a Zoom call with you, you can always just call them on their cell phones and ask them questions. Another recommendation is if they're close by, if you're in downtown and their company's in downtown and they're around, ask them to do a coffee chat. So you can go in person, buy them a cup of coffee and ask the questions that you have prepared. So you have some really good questions prepared, like about 10 to 15, right? So go for a coffee chat. If you're going to do it on Zoom, prepare a Word document where you're documenting everything that they're saying to you so that you have them on record. So first step, do an initial invitation. Once that has been accepted, write up a longer message, something to introduce yourself, what you're looking for, what you want to learn out of them, and be very polite, be mannered. All right, next one is conducting informational interviews. So first thing, decide if you want to meet them through Zoom or in person. So in person is called a coffee chat. If you're gonna do it through Zoom, make sure you set up the invitation link based on the time frame that they gave you, that it's convenient for them, and provide it to them. Provide it to the other person in advance. And if you're gonna go for a coffee chat, arrive early and buy them a coffee for their time and ask your questions. Next one is dress professionally and appropriately. I know this, you're just, casually gonna go there to talk to them, but that doesn't mean you're gonna go in there with jeans and t-shirt. Be professional. You are meeting them on a professional level. They're not your classmates, right? Have your list of questions ready. So as we have gone back in a couple of slides back, we have prepared some questions that you're really curious about asking. Print them out. Have your questions ready or bring your laptop so you can take your notes as you go. Give a brief overview of yourself and your education or work background. Yes, you're there to learn about them, but it's really good to give them some insights about who you are, what you're looking for, what you have studied in the past, and what's the career path that you want to walk in the future. Be prepared to direct the interview, but let the conversation flow naturally. So I know, talking to strangers is hard. So there can be awkward silences and everything, but you are the one that's directing the interview. You're the one asking them these questions. Show them the eagerness that you want to learn more about this, more about that, right? Be the one to direct the conversation. Respect the person's time. If you have asked for 20 minutes, make sure that it ends in 20 minutes. If they're on their lunch break, they might be taking that time out to help you. So respect that person's time. The most important thing is, remember, your objective is not asking for a job. You're not coming off as desperate, but you're there to get some information and advice about going into that industry or walking that career path that they have walked in the past. And if you have built enough that strong network with them, strong connection with them, in the future, if there is a job opening, they might refer you to a job posting, or they might give you a reference, or they might even post it on their LinkedIn profile saying that, hey, my company's hiring, why don't you apply? So it's about getting that information and advice and building that network. All right, so after all this has happened, after the informational interview, keep the record. So write down what you have learned. So, after that session, write down what you have learned, what you can reflect back on, and what more you like to learn and the next steps you plan to take. So I'm sure there's some takeaways from that information interview. I want you to jot those notes down. After, send a thank you note within 1 or 2 days to express their appreciation for their time and information provided. So they're taking that time out of their day to give you all these information. So make sure you're thanking them. Keep in touch with the person, especially if you had a nice interaction. This person could become a very important part of your network. So you don't need to talk to them every week, but if they have like a post that they've posted or they're celebrating their work anniversary, you can kind of write down those comments so they don't forget about you, and they're also keeping up with that network. Here's a sample email thank you note for our information interview on the side right here onto the right hand side. It says, "Dear Mr. Watson, thank you for meeting with me today to talk about your work as an Ethics Arts Center's Public Relations Director. I now have much better understanding of the PR field, particularly within a large nonprofit or arts organization. It was helpful to hear that an entry-level position often requires some experience in media relations. I have decided to take on those responsibilities for the annual fundraising event sponsored by my student organization. I have also contacted your colleague, Cindy Jones, at the East Asian Art Gallery to set up a meeting to speak with her. I very much appreciate having had the opportunity to talk with you. Thank you again for your time and advice. Sincerely, Tamar. So this is like a sample of thank you note that you guys can send off to your professionals after your information interviews or coffee chat. You know, through information interviews, you guys are increasing your visibility and open up more about your professional opportunities for yourself as well. All right, any questions? I will look through the chat box right now to see if you guys have any questions that I can share with the class. Are people generally open for informational interview or coffee chats? It's usually not welcomed in my country in Sri Lanka. Yeah, I think that's definitely a huge cultural difference. Here you have to network. I emphasize that you have to network. It's not just about applying on Indeed and LinkedIn on your jobs, the job things that comes up. You know, you need to target that job market. You need to target that hidden job market, and you need to build that network with the people, professionals in the field, so you can also learn from them as well. So it is very open here. You're more than welcome to do it here. But thing to remember is that not everybody's gonna be saying, like, replying to you saying, hey, yeah, let's do an informational interview. I think out of like 10 people, 2 people might be like, yeah, I'm down. But there's that 2 reply to you, right? Take those chances and talk to these people about it. They might introduce you to someone who can actually give you a better answer as well. And that's also how you build your network in that field as well. And remember, if a person has spared their time to you to do an information interview, if someone else, some different student reach out to you in the future, pay it forward. You can be also sharing your information to them as well, because you know what they have walked in the past, what they're currently walking that you have walked in the past. All right, so is it legal if company doesn't pay for internship? I think this depends, but I think this, you could ask your international student advisor if you have questions about your like being paid or your visa status. Some internships can be voluntary, they can be unpaid. You're actually gaining some work experience out of them, not money. That might be some valuable perspectives that you can gain. They another person asked, how do you answer the question on the expected salary when you are not sure if the company will pick the minimum or the maximum? When you're not sure if the company will pick the minimum or the maximum. Generally for this question is actually covered in a job search workshop. You can ask in a job search workshop, but if you do enough research, you will have the knowledge of how to answer the question, such as like if you're asking your net professionals about the expected salary question, you also have some knowledge about what you're going into. So instead of giving them a specific number, give them a range of your minimum and the maximum that the company might have. So that's something that you can target as well. All right, so any other questions?
You can unmute yourself and then speak up if you have a question.
Oh, yes. If you guys have questions, you guys can also turn off your, you can also unmute yourselves and share your question here as well. Does anybody want to share one thing that you have learned today? Or yes, Francisco.
Yeah, so I have a question. So let's say you're trying to apply to a position, right? And you happen to find a recruiter's profile on LinkedIn. Is it okay to like contact them, or is it better to contact like someone who's been working on the field instead of a recruiter?
I think both is okay. I think both is okay. I think recruiters can also give you different information from the manager that you're talking about. So I think both. I would connect to both and see what they say. It's good to have, diverse connections. So I think both.
Okay, thank you.
Mian, can I share my experience?
Yes, go ahead.
So for this informational interview, what you just already also said that, for example, out of 10, maybe 2 of them would reply, and the other 8 may do not reply, or even reply and that okay, we do not really have any time to spend on this. So what I'm going to share with all the participants is that we should not really disappoint, and we should really continue. By the way, I mean, as far as we are doing more, our chance would be greater, and most probably then the next people will come back, I mean, to us. So we should not disappoint even by some impolite maybe responses, because sometimes I have experience, I mean, that someone said that, okay, there is a lot on my plate, I cannot spend any time, I mean, and this, so these kind of things should not really influence our approach.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Don't be disappointed, but keep it up. Do it consistently. Atola has a really good point. Thank you for sharing your story. Diana asks, is my job searching efforts can be seen by everyone in my network? No, not if you, I'm not sure if you're talking about the search tab, but if you have searched and looking for a job, people cannot see the jobs that you have applied to, or your job searching efforts.
Thank you.
No problem. All right,
Titin,
so
speak up.
Hello, hi there. So, hi Mia. I had a question. So, what if there's some job opening which was posted like today itself, and then you decide to connect to the people who are in the company, and like then write their referral and then make a cover letter based on the information interview that we conducted? Should we like wait? That would take few days, right? Maybe 2 weeks. So should we wait 2 weeks, or should we just apply it and then conduct the information interview?
okay. I'm not sure if I'm understanding your question right. So there's a job that you're applying for and you have conducted information interview already?
Oh, okay. So the thing is, if there's some job opening, so should we wait to conduct the information interview, or should we apply it directly?
I think my recommendation is that maybe you should do a couple of information interview before you apply, unless there is a deadline that you have to apply by and you can't conduct information interview during that time. But you can, because through information interviews, you might able to gain some things that you want to put on your resume or your cover letter when you're applying for that job. So it might kind of strengthen your application. So I recommend you to try information interview before you apply, depending on the deadline. But if deadline's closely approaching, apply first and then talk to some people and see how what the company is like. Jitin, does that answer your question?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
It does. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Asta said, fun fact, I got my current job at CDC through a mutual connect in LinkedIn who connected me to a recruiter on LinkedIn, who in turn connected me to a UCW recruiter. Sometimes a job is few connections away. That is correct. So please utilize your LinkedIn. Don't, don't burn yourself out with information interviews. Be consistent. Try to do one per week or something. It's really hard talking to strangers, scheduling it, going to, being bright, smiling, professional. It's a very difficult task, but this will definitely help you to land on that job and learn about the industry. I think that's all the questions that you guys have. If you guys want to contact us, please, you guys can do an in-person drop-in. We're open from Monday to Friday from 10 to 3. You can also email us at this email address right here. You can also book one-on-one appointment on CDC tab. So if you guys have concerns about your specifically, like you have some specific questions that you want to address, you guys can book a virtual one-on-one appointment with us. Please visit our CDC tab portal for latest career tools, resources, and upcoming events and workshops. Here, you can also see a QR code. So please take 3 minutes to complete our post-workshop survey so that we can improve it for our next semester. It will be very great if you guys can do that for us. We also have some other upcoming workshops, so please check back on our portal to see other upcoming workshop events. Thank you guys for joining our today's session. I hope you guys learned something out of it, and please utilize the skill for your job searching. All right. Thank you so much, and I hope I can see you guys in other workshops.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So anybody who hasn't
Thank you.
recorded
Bye.
your attendance,
so much.
please record your attendance before you go. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
How do we record the attendance?